GM everyone. Thank you for joining us, and thank you to all our speakers who are already here with us. We are still waiting for two more speakers, I think. One is Bilal, and another one is our dear Seth Bokshe from the Sandbox. But I think while we are waiting for them, we can already start the Twitter space. Just I'm going to first quickly introduce our dear speakers today, with whom we're going to talk about our special episode of gaming on-chain analysis in Web3 investment. So today we have Nicholas from Bubble Maps. I hope I'm right when I'm looking at the logo. So welcome Nick from Bubble Maps that is going to introduce to us how we can use Bubble Maps to do gaming on-chain analysis. We also have Sami from Cross the Ages who have just successfully launched the TGE in May. We have Kevin, aka Ataraxia from DFIT, that is a move to earn Web3 sports lifestyle app. We have Alex from Paris Labs. Alex is the Chief Investment Officer at Paris Labs, who is in charge of all our portfolio deal flows. And we also have Chris from Dogami, that is the chief brand officer from Dogami. I think you all already know Dogami. So while we are waiting for Bilal, that is still currently finishing up his LinkedIn live stream, and while we are waiting for Seb to join us, I'm going to pass the mic to our dear speakers, and I'm going to follow the order of the icon that I'm looking at here as usual. So first we have Bubble Maps. Nick, how are you?
Hello, hello. I'm doing good, Peo. It's a pleasure to be with you today. It's a topic we don't talk about too much on our side, gaming. We've covered it briefly, some of our threads, Gala, for example, but I'm happy to touch on this topic later on. So yeah, pleasure to be here.
Yes, totally. Thank you, Nick. And I'm so looking forward, to be honest. I don't yet have the Bubble Maps Premium, and every time that I'm on the Bubble Maps platform, I'm always thinking about should I get a premium, but actually the premium is really expensive.
You know what, DM me and we will make an arrangement. No worries at all. But yeah,
Okay, well,
this last weeks for us were pretty intense. We've been covering a lot of celebrities launching token on Solana. And crazy story, Peao. I had a call, I swear to God, I had a 15 minutes call with Jason Derulo. Do you know Jason Derulo?
one of the celebrity coins, but honestly, there is one celebrity coin every day,
Singer.
so I'm already
Yeah,
losing. Ah,
it's a singer from our youth. Jason Derulo. This guy. Anyway, I had a call with him. It was insane because we were investigating his token called Jason, but we ended up exposing him anyway. But that was a fun call.
okay, cool. I'm going to look forward to you digging deeper into into the exposing a little bit later. So I'm going to give a sound effect. Which one should I pick? Let's try this one. Okay, cool. Next one we have Sammy from Cross the Ages. GM Sammy.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Good, good, good. How are
I'm doing
you?
great.
Where are you at right now?
We just arrived from Miami. We spent some time on a mining disrupt conference and just coming back, into Europe. So happy to be with
Okay,
you.
cool, Sammy.
Happy to be with you. For the people who don't
Happy
know,
to be.
across the ages, we created a whole IP based on the universe and several physical books. The first was released in April. The second will be released in October. The third next year. Translated in many language. You have like movie animation. You have gaming experience. A multiverse experience, and everything is linked. So we super happy. We launched the token last month. Was like a long journey, but we made it, and yeah, happy to share this panel with you.
Yes, thank you, Sammy. And I can't wait for the book. I hope one day the book is going to be English because the last time that I checked, it was in French, and I was like, oops. Okay, cool. Next one, we have Kevin from DFIT. Welcome, Kevin.
Hi, Piao. It's been a long time we haven't talked, right?
Ah, already 1 hour. Yes.
We had another
Welcome.
space earlier, but very happy to be here with you again. This time, not talking about DFIT, but talking about gaming in general. And super pleased to be sharing this space with over awesome builders, Sami and Sebastian and Chris and Alex, everyone. It's an amazing topic, so very happy to contribute to that with my old token that is already listed for uh, more than 3 years now. So yeah, kind of a dinosaur now.
Yes, that's for sure a dinosaur in in the coin space where we have a new baby coin every day, and I'm really looking forward to your insight on this topic, Kevin. Behind the baby PFP, we actually have a coin degen, so I'm really looking forward to it. And next one we have Seb, you join us. Welcome, Seb. GM, how are you?
Hello everyone, I'm very good, thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Seb. Well, we have another dinosaur token. It looks like Kevin, you are not the only one. The same token is also a dinosaur in the core space.
A dinosaur. Oh wow. Okay, we only are like 4 years old, guys. Like we launched on August 2020. I
It's
think
a
Yeah, but Seb, there's
a
not
very
that many
successful
tokens that have
dinosaur.
been alive for so long, right?
right, right. Well, I think it comes with the challenge, a different challenge. We've gone through the different phases, of course, different bear and bull markets. Sand has established itself as a top 10 gaming token, according to CoinMarketCap and the top 100 cryptocurrency. And well, you know, like you have to work to keep delivering on the value, the utility, and make sure it's still relevant today, as like there's many other distractions for people who are looking at the space and maybe entered more recently. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about today.
Totally, Sam, and I'm very happy that we have some dinosaur token and the corresponding founders in our Twitter space today. Because I guess with the time passing, with the market up and down, you also get more learnings on the do's and don'ts, and it's really interesting to get your insights, Seb and Kevin. And next one, we have Alex from Paris Lab, our Chief Investment Officer. GM, Alex, how are you?
GM, hello everyone. Yeah, so I manage the investment of Pirate Lab, so very happy to have many of our companies into the panel today. So personally, I'm very passionate about gaming and tokenomics. Tokenomics is something I'm studying a lot since 5 or 6 years now. There would be very interesting discussions. Just that Pirate Lab is a venture studio. We have around 30 companies into our portfolio, but I will let Bilal present even better Pirate Lab. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. And it's always a pleasure to have you in our investment Twitter space. Next one, the final one, we have Chris from Dogami. How are you, Chris? GM.
GM Pao, thank you for having me and having Dogami as part of this. It kind of feels like a call with the family. I mean, I know practically everybody here, and it's great to be surrounded by such great individuals. So I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And yes, before we get started with hang up a call. Okay, good. I'm back. Before we have Bilal finally finishing up the LinkedIn live and join us on the stage. I just would like to quickly have a poll among our audience. So 2024 actually like right now we have a lot of celebrity coins that are launching, but actually apart from that we also have a lot of coins that are from other sectors. And I just wanted to have a quick poll to know if there is any coin that have a tokenomics that have caught your eye, be it good or bad. Please don't hesitate to shoot it in the comments, and we are curious to get your side of view as well. Okay, cool. Next one. Coming back to our dear speakers, and thank you, Kevin, for all your emojis. I love it. And coming back to our dear speakers, also the same question for you. In 2024, did you have any coins that have particularly caught your eye in terms of tokenomics? Why did it catch your eye? Is it like too bad, or is it too good, or whatsoever? Or blah blah blah. Yeah, just curious to get your point of view to get the conversation started. And please don't hesitate to jump into the discussion whenever you want. The floor is yours.
Sure, I can jump in, PO, if you want. I don't want to sound depressing, but with bubble math, since we're mostly exposing bad or poor tokenomics, poor distribution, I think I only have bad example that comes to mind. One in particular, I think this is one of my favorite. It is Gala. So let me rewind the tape slightly. So Gala started, I think, back in 2020 or 2021, and there was a couple of founders, and the token was thriving. I think Sebastian mentioned the top five gaming token. I think Gala is definitely amongst those ranking, and everything was doing fine for them. And then all of a sudden, 1 year ago, we learned on Twitter that two co-founders were actually in a legal battle and they were attacking each other through lawsuits. Everybody was surprised. What is going on? Why are these people attacking each other? And the story is actually quite insane because one of the founder allegedly stole like half of the supply, half of the total supply to the other, and as a response, the other stole half of the other supply. So essentially, they had all the supply, and they were running away with it. And the story is that the way that they structured their tokens was actually insane. Initially, they had like 70% of the supply in one wallet, unlocked without any multisig, and they decided to split this initial wallet into 100 wallets. They call this company wallets. And they both of these founders, they had access to the 100 company wallets. So imagine the responsibility. We're talking about hundreds of millions, not even maybe billions. I'm not sure. And what happened was that one of the founders suddenly decided to take control of those company wallets, and the other, in retaliation, took part of the other company wallets. Stop. So that was a crazy story. And what I loved about it was the fact that on the bubble map of Gala, that was really obvious what was happening behind the scenes, even before we learned about this lawsuit, because the bubble map was forming some very intricate clusters. And so we decided to talk about it following the lawsuit, and it was a whole debate, and it created the conversations on Twitter that was very intense. What happened then the last part of the story, one of the founder, to take revenge, actually decided to launch Gala V2 in the back of the other founder. And so at the same time coexisted two tokens, Gala V1 and Gala V2. So I think that's on the top of my mind if we're talking about poor tokenomics and poor token design. I think this is the one that comes to mind because of how crazy the thing is. And Gala V2 is still alive and is still performing not too bad. So this story is insane.
Did they sell the token after splitting it into 100 wallets?
So yes, they were selling the token. There were huge inflow of Gala token on Coinbase. I'm talking about Gala V1. And this is when like they started attacking each other, legal lawsuits, etc. Until one of the founder launched Gala V2 to try to save it from the other founder who was selling. And we're talking about hundreds of millions, literally.
Oh, wow. And oh, okay, cool. I found a very initial tweet that you that is like a thread that you posted in 2023. And if anyone that is interested in the drama behind the Gala token in the space, please don't hesitate to check out the tweet that I pinned back to the space.
Sebastian, we all count on you to never launch a Sandbox V2 or Sand V2 all of a sudden. All right, you're
So
representing friends here, man. Come on.
yeah, okay, I have two feedback on that. Like the first one is like indeed like it shouldn't be underestimated the importance of like Web3 security and the custody of assets, and like how once you launch a token, like how you're going to hold your company reserve and all the different pools that are part of the by your token distribution. Usually you work either with a solution like Ledger Enterprise, for example, or Fireblocks, or multi-sig, and for example, Know This Safe are like some of the recommendation, but not all the founders are familiar with that. So we've seen so many stories in the past of a hack and like or funds being stored in like a smart contract, and somehow the smart contract has an issue, so someone was able to extract a good portion of the supply and steal it. Uh, there need to be more education around the principle of security and custody and splitting keys and access to keys, even hardware and cold wallets, if necessary, for founders. And you have to, just like in real world companies, like you have to consider like some founders might leave on the company, so you cannot concentrate all indeed into like just one CFO on one person within the company, even if at some point you think they are trustable. The second consideration here is like, what are the implications of decentralization in the sense of like, could your community or could another team member fork a new version. Unfortunately, I think like the blockchain world is full of that. Like I'm thinking, starting from Bitcoin, the story of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Lightning, and all other, like they are all born from like team disagreeing, splitting up, and like trying to rebuild with a different approach. And that approach could be financial or could be purely technical. You know, like sometimes they don't agree on the way like the validation mechanism should be done or the custody of asset and so on, the transaction fees and so on. Case of Sandbox, of course, it's not our intention to start a Sandbox V2, but we launched a DAO. We are decentralizing progressively the decision making, you know. So if someone and the community decide that the Sandbox platform shouldn't be just this platform, but should become something bigger, should be forked into different options, we should open source the code and like multiple version of it exists, there are possibilities, and like we'll probably follow the voice of what the community wants. If the community votes in favor of something that they believe is going to be to drive more adoption or be more positive for Sandbox. So I'm curious to see how those things will evolve overall.
Sebastian, do you mind if I jump in here because
Yeah.
you launched your DAO? I think it was 2 weeks ago, so very recently. What is your initial feedback? How is it going, man? Curious to hear your perspective.
I think so far we can be quite happy and satisfied of the engagement. We launched it and we had 5 sandbox improvement proposal SIPs that went to vote. The 3 first one were essentially about like the establishment of the foundation, the constitution, and the budget, and the 2 other are about like one is like buying carbon credits by acquiring tokens that's on chain, and the second is supporting the Red Cross charity with an experience and play to give on Sandbox. All of them have been voted yes positively, with the quorum being reached, meaning that more than 3% of the total voting power have been used, and each of them had 1,000 voters at least, which a good proof of engagement from our community. Yesterday, we published a 6.1, SIP6, which is like a tool developed by a studio a creator in the community who has been active since 2020 to improve the life of creator. And he was asking for some funding to continue developing it and shipping update for other creators. It looks like it's going on track. And we have a new one in discussion about like supporting landowners with some sort of retroactive funding and staking rewards. So far it's going great in terms of activation, engagement. It's something really new for a gaming platform like ours to have this decision power. So we keep educating, we keep doing IMAs, 1 or 2 a day in different regions of the world. And now we'd like to encourage even more decentralization in like electing the community manager or the team members and submitting new ideas to be voted upon.
Thank you, Seb. And yes, I just pinned back the Sandbox style pinned tweet into the Twitter space, which explains how the holding of the Sand token and the Sandbox land is impacting the voting power inside of the DAO. Yep. So now, if I come back to our other speakers that are on the stage, we have Sami, we have Kevin, we have Alex, we have Chris. So talking about the tokenomics, what like it why does what are maybe the top criteria that would impact you to think, okay, this tokenomic may be good, this that tokenomic might have some red flags?
Yeah, I can go on this one. I think when we talk about tokenomics, we talk a lot about the supply, about the allocation, how the token will be distributed. But the main driver of the value will be the demand, not the supply. So the first things to look is the utility of the token. So sometimes that there can be like some supply of the token or some allocation that is not optimal. but logically in the midterm or the long term, if the utility is there, the token will perform. So I think the first things to look is the utilities. During the bear market, I saw many projects that wanted just to do like a buyback and burn. The only utility of the token was to buy back. The company behind would buy back and burn the token. I think for me that's a red flag. So for me, you don't need a token. So in general, you put a token in order to gather a community or to decentralize the protocol. So if you just try to put it and the company needs to buy back and to burn it, just like you don't need a token. So people should be more focused first on the utility. That's the first the demand. So the first constraint, and after, of course, you can look at the supply and try to see that there won't be too much supply at the beginning. But like the game mainly is that all the tokens will be distributed during 4 years. So after 4 years, we will see if the token really perform. And so the idea is the demand must try to catch up this offer, this supply that will keep increasing. Yeah, so that's my take on this one. After, I think sometimes people are quite disappointed about the tokenomics due to the macroeconomic. Unfortunately, as we are in a young market, the main driver of the price of the token today is the market conditions. So that will be the main driver. So for me, the first one is like the market condition. After is the utility, and after, of course, there is the supply. So when you work a lot on the supply, you don't really work on the totality of the utility of the token. That's my view on that field. Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. Yes, go ahead, Seb.
Well, yeah, I think like a lot can be said, and I might throw like something a bit controversial here, but and of course I don't want to make any like investment recommendation. All opinions are mine, and all the usual disclaimer. But I would be also quite careful at any project where like the initial circulating supply that will be put following the token generation event will be very high in a short amount of time, and there is a large concentration of token already in the hands of investors, KOLs or so-called influencers. So I've seen a rise of projects that have like already short cliff on their token, like 3 months, sometimes even like a lot of the token immediately unlocked from the TG event on their launchpad. And within 3 months or 6 months, then a larger portion of the supply becomes available, and you realize that after that, it's a monthly vesting schedule. So like more token come in supply month after month, and within 12 months, you already have like 50% or even more than 30% of the total supply of the token in circulation. And that is to be put in a context where, like, if you look at the overall blockchain gaming and Web3 market right now, only a few games have found like large adoption through airdrops mechanics, and there is not sufficient demand from gamers to use the token to acquire the in-game asset or to play with it to to actually balance out such a large supply in circulation in a short amount of time. And that doesn't leave the founders of the project and their team the time to ship update, to announce major partnership and things that can be game changing and impacting for their community. When every month there is even more supply of the token that comes in circulation, and those tokens are available usually on smaller exchanges. So I will not give names here, but exchange where like if you sell $10,000 worth of that token, it already impact the price. It's unfortunate, and I understand why some founders will want to go for that route because they are attracted for the funding. They think like they are succeeding at accumulating large amount of money right away, but they are trading really they are giving already, losing a lot of control and like going to face a large problem in a rather short amount of time. We're talking a quarter or a semester here. While their product is still into an alpha or MVP stage, their community hasn't grown enough to drive large demand, and the overall market is causing problem. So I recommend investors to be careful. First of all, the serious one who really want to support the entrepreneur and the founder to build games and look for them to be sustainable and survive through multiple phases of the market. And I recommend the founders to be careful because like you need to be aware of the risk and prepare for like what's coming at you, because it's going to be very hard to redress to come back with an economy on a token that has started to depreciate in price and that generated a bad vibe within your community as well.
Totally, Seb. And yes, you have talked about like the percentage of token unlocked at the TGE, and that's actually one question that I'm personally very curious about as well. I would like to get the view of our speakers, like in your point of view, what is more or less like a cap of the percentage of the token to be unlocked at TGE. From your opinion, maybe we can get a view from like Sami or Kevin or Chris here. Yeah. Hello, Sami. Ah, okay. I hope it's not me that
Yeah.
is being rocked.
Maybe Kevin wants to talk now. I think he has his raised hand.
Yeah.
Uh, so,
Yes, go
or
ahead.
because I can go on this one after.
Yeah, thank you, Alexandre, for not forgetting me. Pia seems to have not seen my raised hand. Um,
Hello.
no, I just wanted to jump in and say that I can only agree with everything that Sebastien has said. And I just want to bring like another different perspective, because from my own, we talk about the dinosaur token, right? Like Sebastien and the Sam, there's been like 4 years already in the market. I've been in there for 3 years, and it was 7th of April 2021. So I think now it's about 3 years and a couple of months. And there are a lot of good things that I did, but there are a lot of mistakes that I did as well, right? And when we launched our token, we did a pre-sale, and that was back in another era, right? Because the whole crypto market shifts so fast. So back in like DeFi summer 2020, it was all about full decentralization. So when I worked out my tokenomics back in the days, it was all about offering people a very low market cap with very low supply token. So we went into this intention that the pre-sale will be 40% of the total supply, right? And as much as that was great, and the release at TGE, we had 3 round pre-sale, and it was only like 10% released at TGE, an 18-month schedule for vesting, right? So we listed like TGE 7th April, 10%. But then we realized also that the strategy of having a very low cap, so our listing market cap was $300,000, right? Which is nothing. Like I don't know many projects that actually listed at less than 2 or 3 or 4, even 10 million market cap in the last 2 years. But in those days, it was about low M cap, huge opportunity, power to the community. And it's a bet. When you say it's a power to the community, it means you own like 40% of the tokens, and then we succeed, you succeed, we succeed together, which is the spirit of Web3. Looking back, I thought it was a very dangerous bet, but I'm very glad that we managed, as you mentioned, to survive the vesting period of 1.5 years and then enter the new cycle. Alexandre, you said 4 years until we really build the utility and we see the token utility. We have 3 a bit more than 3 years now. And now we see that the token became a very utility token, right? So the supply, the launch strategy, the vesting are all important factors. But at the end of the day, what really matters is how fast can you grow into building the demand. As you, Alexander, mentioned, the demand is the number one criteria. And then the supply like only come in the number three, because it took us that long to really create the token utility and making sure that by now our token is being held because of the benefits it provides and no longer because of a quick listing and hype and speculation on the premise, right? Which is the cycle, the J cycle, right? Of any token. So vesting is important, but utility is key. And you have to understand that it takes very long time for any team to figure and fine tune the tokenomic model until we get it, right? The whole economy of the euro, the US dollar was not born in a day. And it's the same for any project that launch a token. It takes a while and we usually go faster than hundreds of years to figure out the whole economy around the token to make sure that we give it as much value as it should.
Thank you, Kevin. I don't know if Sammy, Chris, you have anything to add? Hello, Sammy, are you back? I see you
No,
were getting
I
rugged.
can kind of
Okay,
mirror
Chris.
what I can kind of mirror what Kevin is
So,
saying. So talking about mistakes, I think this is interesting and quite humbling to be able to talk about. We released a token which was supposed to be a few months before the release of our first experience that would have given the token a lot of utility. And it's the first playtest that we did and the release to our NFT holders of the gaming experience, we decided to make a major pivot. So to one thing, you're risking obviously to lose utility for your token over a long amount of time, and therefore playing with the patience of the investors and the community members. And to the other, there's the long-term game, right? It's focusing on what's going to have the maximum impact on the long term and attract stronger interest. And I think we have plenty of tokens out there that succeed without having real utility for the moment or without having experiences that are fueled by hype and speculation, and that works for some.
And that breaks
But
our hearts, right? Sorry, I'm jumping in, Chris, but when we see all the meta for celebrity token and meme coin getting like 100 millions of volumes and stuff, when we all in this space are building legit projects, it kind of hurts, doesn't it?
no, definitely. And I mean, today we have a team of 25 at Dogami with freelancers included, working like there's no tomorrow on trying to make this successful and trying to make the best experience possible for the users. And there's also a lot of regulation that comes into play that kind of makes it tricky for you to be able to maneuver. Dogami at its core is a franchise IP. So what we want to build with our community is the ability to be a part of the next. You throw big names out there, but if we don't dream, it doesn't. It's not worth anything. But it's to be able to own a part of the next Transformers or the next Pokemon, or a big IP through the community, and to be able to have some governance on the decisions that are taking in terms of the activations or the applications of the brand across different types of media. And this is kind of the beauty of Web3. But then to go and articulate that is something completely different and quite intricate in itself. But yes, I think that those that can see through the smoke and that can focus on what it is that is being worked on, that working with big companies or big partners around the globe or multinationals, these are things that take time. We just closed a deal with Nestle Purina for a two-way activation, with the first one being the co-creation of a virtual pet food brand called Purina Doga Snacks. that people can use in game to be able to increase the training success rate on their Dogami NFTs, and that's part one. And just getting us here was about a year and a half of discussions. But part two is where it gets exciting. Is that what we're now working on being able to develop is a white labeled Purina product from their top tier of products for in real life pet food, Purina Doga snacks, to which after it's some form of a user acquisition, is that all the pet lovers and dog lovers in the world will be able to purchase Purina Doga snacks, and from feeding their in real life dog, be able to connect that directly to the digital experience. So these are the kind of touch points that we want to have. This is kind of the audiences that we want to talk to in the future, while increasing visibility and the audience in our community. But building these things, they take a lot of time. And so it's difficult to sometimes sit idle and watch the token go down. And it's either you inject large amounts of capital into sustaining the token, or you do it when it can have a real impact, when there are strong announcements. And it's trying to find that balance sometimes that for founders is a little bit tricky, because you're maintaining on one side development and production of, we hope, top tier experiences for audience members. And on the other side, an ecosystem economy. So it's tricky. So I feel you, Kevin.
Hey, I said I was a
But
dinosaur and Sebastian too, but you are not far from being one as well. Your token has been.
we're medieval. We're medieval by now.
Yeah, but this is
It's
how we
okay.
learn. This is how we grow an ecosystem, right? Like we all together can like discuss and share the best practices and build on. And this is what Pirates Labs is all about, right? Is bringing us together so we can learn from each other and work together, right?
100%.
Thank you, Kevin and Chris. Actually, I have a good question for you, Chris, a little bit later. I know that the Dogami X Purina was like a really, really big announcement, and I was curious to discover more about like okay, so what does it mean for the token? Because actually Doga is kind of already also a little bit more or less like a dinosaur token. But first, I wanted to give mic back to our dear friend, Sami. I hope
Yeah.
you're not okay.
Is
Good.
it working now?
Yes, it's working now.
You
Ooh.
Congrats.
on, Sami. We're happy to have you
Uh,
from Miami, right?
Thank you. Thank you. Yep. A problem of connection from Miami. I'm sorry for
I'm
that.
so jealous, man. I'm in the southwest of France. Miami sounds better.
No. Don't say that. Don't be jealous. We're going for cross the ages. Like it's a long trip, and I will jump on like the part of the economics and like how we think that we're trying to find the best use case to being able to give a sense to that. So as like people know, we made the fundraising in end of 2021. The initiative, like the initial goal, was to release the token in end of 2022 with a game, with an ecosystem, and then created like a multiple experience of gaming, multiple game, but within the market, going really bad and turning, into a bear. So we skipped, 2022. We also skipped 2023. 2024, we see like end of 2023, we seen that they're gonna be like an opportunity to be released. And for us, the goal was to be released in March. That was like a very perfect month. The thing is like to be sure that all the exchanges will be okay to release in the meantime. We get like the May, and May was not like the best, for the release of the token. Initially, it was okay, for the launch, not like what we expect, but it was okay. I think that what was like the non-good thing was like maybe like the launch pool, the fact that we're giving for free some token. Like this is not good, for the economy where all your economy is based on a paid token. Like because for us, the token is like having like a very strange and very huge utility for cross the ages. You can't, get like an airdrop of token. You can't get, you cannot win the token. You can only buy it. The token is like the life system, of the project. He's allowed you, to buy. cards, like to mint your cards, to also like trade and like buying and selling, into the secondary markets. And we just today, start like the conversion that, we when you spend money fiat, we will directly, buy that, into the markets, and then, created like a buying pressure. This is pretty good, and like we've seen a very good reaction, from the market, and we stabilize that. One of the things that we really believe that is going to be like a game changer for across the ages is the second experience gaming called Arise. So like this is going to be it's completely linked, to the RWA, real world assets. And the idea is, imagine that everything you can get, like this is like the idea from across the ages from the first day. It's to link digital to real. It was like the initial case with the card gaming when you start with digital card and becoming NFT and becoming, like some physical card. Today we have like lands that you will own, inside the second game called Arise, or Action RPG, that we're gonna showcase in Tokyo, for Tokyo Game Show in September. And then you this land like can like be like an NFT, and you can have like the physical, property for this land. So we spend a lot of time like with my co-founder Richard in the US, because like we buying, like lands, and we're not giving only lands for people, because if I just give you like some lands in Texas or Oregon, it's gonna be like a nonsense. What we're doing, with a CTA factory, it's we provide energy, so extra capacity. We are close, to substation. Those substation are generating, megawatts. So we buying, this extra megawatt that we're selling today to Bitmain and Foundry. We have and data center. We have like a contract on many years. We have a price that we pay the energy and price that we sell the energy, and absolutely everything is made with a CTA token. So when you have a land, you will have like a yield every year. You will have a yield coming from 5 to 15%. And going to 10 to 30 if you have some asset on it, and everything is linked to the CTA token. The way, for us to being able to have a token where like you will have a utility is to having more and more effect with your token, where absolutely all your ecosystem will use, the CTA token. In in September, we're gonna have like the first sale, of land, and it's gonna be like exclusively in CTA token. Like it's gonna be like more than 3 million. We know that everything will be sold because the intention of the player is pretty high. So imagine that the player will have to buy, like this CTA token. We have the chance, to have a some advance, some treasury advance. So like all this token, we're gonna keep it. And the idea, is more we will keep and stake the token, and more the price of the token will go high. And you will have also this incentive, very high incentive, like to become owner of this token, because like the reward that you can get when you stake your token, like today is from 1,500 to 10,000 token. You receive some airdrop of cards called like special rare that you can use to protect your land, but you can use them also like on the trading card game. The idea is all the assets, are interoperable. So when you have like cards from TCG, it's also from another game. And yes, so like a lot of iteration to be there, but like I'm we really believe that this will work, and like more we're gonna create an experience, and more, like the utility can be higher, and the incentive will be higher and higher. So yeah, the token, the cross the ages is not a token that you can, get, but like it's a proof of ownership. When you have like this token, you get it, and you have like a lot of sense. So you can get your airdrop of asset, but you can also like getting this yield that you have in CTA token. I don't know if you heard me well. I don't know if like the connection was good. I'm sorry, because like it's like not a good connection. But I just hope that you have like almost all the sentence that I just said.
Yes, your connection worked perfectly fine this time, Sami, and thank you for the alpha, because I see Cross the Ages just posted 15 minutes ago, and I didn't have time to click the link yet. The link in the comment of the new tweet. Yes, so thank you, Sami, for the alpha. And I think you talked about something that is very interesting, which is the free token that a lot of projects that are giving at the time of doing like the campaign before the TGE and around the TGE time, because that's also it's kind of logical, right? Because that's also the time when the product of a lot of the projects are not ready yet to give utility and the buying pressure and holding pressure to the token. So they're purely using the marketing campaigns to drive up the noise around the token in the market. But I think at the end of the day, it comes to one question. So the number apart among the token that is unlocked upon TGE, what do you think would be, for example, the cap of the token that people are getting for free? I think maybe that's a pretty interesting advice for many projects that are trying to launch a coin right now or a few months later, something like that. No one wants to say anything, or am I being rugged?
No, you're not rugged.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's always hard to talk in absolute value to take to just talk about the
Maybe a
percentage.
percentage.
Yeah, so it's hard to talk because what is important is the market cap. Because like the project will have like a medium market cap, considering its market and everything. So when you do a tokenomics, you need to build everything around the potential market cap you should have. For example, you told me you talked about the percentage that you need to unlock at the TGE, but the it's you need mostly, as Sebastian said, to look at the initial market cap. Like in general, with the market conditions today, to have a initial market cap between around 1 million or 2 million or 3 million. Of course, if you are a very mature project that is building since 3 years, maybe it can go to 5 million or 10 million euros. But you need to mostly think to design your tokenomics, the supply of the tokenomics, considering the initial market cap that you will have and the FDV that you should have. And I think one of the main problem that we had these 3 last months with the token launches, it was that the FDV was too high. Many projects launched with a FDV at around 100 million, 200 million or more, and for example, I think Peak, it's a deep in project. I think they did the public sale with like a 1 billion FDV or something like that. Like for sure, you will have. It's really hard. It's really hard to give a ROI for like the people who participated to the public sale and try to have a quick return. So it will be a bad marketing effect. And I think what the project's owners must understand when they build a tokenomics is like to launch a token is mostly a marketing aspect. That's a big advantage. It's like when you are a startup, it's hard to have attention, and thanks to a token, you can have with the TG, you can have like a massive attention. Of course, it's mainly Web3 audience. That's not that big, but it's quite big. It's hundreds of millions of people. So you should really focus on the fact that you will have a big marketing effect when you launch your token, and so you shouldn't be too greedy about the FTV, and because the deletion won't be that high. So I think that's my main point when you build a tokenomics. Don't just resonate about the percentage of the part and don't take numbers of other. Just resonate in terms of the initial market cap that you will have at the launch and the FDV that you will have, and don't be too greedy about that, because what is important is like the marketing effect will have the TGE, which is a massive advantage for like the Web3 projects.
Yeah, can I jump in?
Thank you, Alex. Yes, Kevin, the floor is yours.
Okay, Alex, I love it when you say for the token launch, because it sounds like the first time I moved to Asia in 2013 and I talk about new product launch, and all my British colleagues made fun of me because they say it's launch, it's not lunch. we're not having food. We're launching a product. Anyway, joke aside, um, when I look at, okay, can you, Alex, tell me like what is FDV?
It's the fully diluted value, like all
Okay, so market
yeah,
cap.
yeah.
Okay, so I see it.
The fully diluted market cap, yeah, with
Yeah,
all the
fully
tokens
diluted market
released.
cap. Okay, so that's why FGV, I was like, not too sure. To me, the fully diluted market cap makes absolutely no sense. Like, I see projects out there with crazy fully diluted market cap. Like, dude, I can mint millions of tokens that have absolutely no demand, right? So, um, you do whatever you want. There's the people that are being aware about this kind of data, and there's not enough people aware about this kind of data. And that's why we are here. And that's why I appreciate this space. So we can bring some kind of awareness to people that do not understand tokenomics so well and need to understand about supply and demand and maximum supply and stuff. To me, the only thing that matters is the circulating market cap. Like, you can mint as many tokens as you want. Circulating market cap, you cannot cheat. Circulating market cap means the people that do actually hold the token that give a value to your token valuation, right? So, like, I think this is why we're here to talk about this kind of stuff and what's the real truth. Circulating means how much utility you brought to your token, so people hold it, and how many people hold it, and how many people enjoy the benefit of it, right? So I think there's a lot of things we can talk back about. What would I do differently? And I'll probably start back in 2020 when I started to pitch like the idea of this sheet and how I'm gonna change the game about sport and gamification. I did a lot of mistakes, right? Mistakes, yes or no? Mistakes in the sense that I gave a lot of power to my community. Selling 40% of the token means like they decide, which is the spirit of Web3. Like, my community invested, we succeed, they succeed, everybody succeed, right? And then it comes to the point where you are like, either I drove enough value to it and we keep the successful path, either I did not and we don't, right? But I think the only one parameter that people should be looking at is really circulating market cap. Like FDV, as Alexander was mentioning, makes absolutely no sense in my point of view. I'm just gonna leave it here for anyone to jump in and talk. And
Yep. Thank you, Kevin, for like giving your view on the fully diluted value and the circulating supply in the market. And yeah, actually, it was such a shame that I didn't really we didn't have time to give the mic to Bubble Maps, to Nick from Bubble Maps, to talk about his analysis of the bubbles.
yes,
But
Nick, just share all the bubbles of defeat and dogamy and CTA and sand and let's go.
yes, Nick. Okay, I'm going to give a ping on the Telegram in a few seconds because I want to see all the bubbles. I don't have Bubble Max Premium, so I can't really see the most up to date bubbles.
Does it look good or are we screwed?
Didn't he
uh,
send you
is
the screenshots?
Yes, the up to date bubbles, like the bubbles of right now, not the bubbles of 5 weeks ago, because that's most of the bubble that I'm seeing on the bubble maps because I don't have the premium and the premium
No,
is
but
really
wait, he was
expensive.
supposed to screenshot three bubble maps for each of the tokens.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
give.
so Pia, you got it?
Yeah, but yeah, well, let you check what he sent you and do the stuff, and maybe we can I can
Yeah,
jump.
so this that was the main topic of the call, right? So we probably screwed. I told you my bubble don't look so good, but I'm here to talk about it. So let's do.
Okay, I'm giving Nick a ping
No, no,
on the
Nick
Telegram
cannot
right
come. He's
now.
not coming. So,
But how about shooting the bubbles?
no, but the idea was for us to do a post with the bubbles and then ping the post.
Yeah, what I was thinking
Bilal,
is, yeah.
can you introduce yourself? Because you haven't. I mean,
Yes, I'm gonna
we
introduce
all know
myself.
you, but you came in late,
Yeah.
so
I'm sorry.
say hi to
I
everybody.
was doing another. I was recording another podcast. So hi everyone. I'm the founder of Paris Lab. I've been an entrepreneur for the past 6 years. I love entrepreneurship. Love federating teams around products. Love cracking business models. Love Web3 because of the philosophy and the techie aspects. It's also amazing to be kind of early, to be able to express our creativity as we see fit, even though the market is more and more competitive. On my 2 cents in regards of tokens, maybe I will repeat a little bit what you said, but tokens are the first thing is what are the facts about tokens? But the first thing is that a token is a full-time job. It's a full-time job on many regards. It's a full-time job to have the relationship with the investors, the relationship with the exchange, the relationship with the market. So don't underestimate the work that is required for a token. Another aspect that is really time consuming, and then the Dogami team, we've seen that managing the token, is that the community is extremely sensitive to the token price. So it can obviously help you, but it can also makes it hard for everyone because for small cap tokens, like 100K position can really change the price by 20-30%, which can create a lot of panic in the market. So token is a full-time job, and I really recommend thinking very deeply before launching a token. The second thing I often say is that
Bilal, can I add
yes,
something before you go to the second thing?
please go.
Token is more than a second job. Like a job is 9 to 5, 35 hours a week in a French definition of job, right? A token is 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Like you have no idea how many times I woke up at 3 in the morning and I check on market cap or Dextool, right? So token is more than a full-time job.
Exactly. So don't undervalue the token. And then I was saying, yeah, it can really impact the community. So my recommendation on token is that be very critical about your token and launch it after having a little bit of track record, because the tokenomic, the balancing between the release of the tokens and the supply that is locked to increase the token price is very hard to grasp, and specifically if you don't have track record of your traction and the financial flux that are generated on your platform. So I'd rather recommend the token to be launched at least a year after the launch of the project. Sami did 2 years and a half, if I'm not wrong. I think it's the minimum in order to know what you're playing around with. Then people often forget what makes the token goes up. So the token goes up, you need buy pressure or diminish the number of tokens in circulation. And often people they only think as how I'm going to use the token to reward the community, do airdrops, etc. And this is not sane because you cannot expect your token to go up by just giving token freely to the community. It doesn't make sense. So don't be surprised if it's not working. So really have, and I think that's also what's really nice with the tokenomics of Defeat is that you incentivize people to lock their token, and the more you have users, the more you have token locks, um, and, and and that's definitely a mechanic that I recommend being core to your implementation. What else can I say? It's true that the market cap's fully diluted. I mean, it's a KPI, but it's indeed the market cap that considers the circulating supply only that is really important. And in terms of KPI, it's rare to see a token being listed at more than 3-5 million market cap. It doesn't really make sense if you propose something more at the listing. It doesn't make sense for the investors. Well, they are locked anyway. It doesn't make sense for the late investors because they will only buy very expensive with the token. So I'd rather list at a low market cap in order for everybody to kind of have a return on investment positive than having a big market cap. In any case, your tokens as a project are locked. So you have actually no incentive of listing at a highest market cap. Then obviously it can change.
Bilal,
Yes.
can I act as a moderator in
Yes,
here?
please.
The question will be, if you were like any offers, like you with Dogami and the founding team, with Chris, with everyone, Seb, Sami, if you were to launch a token now, knowing what you know from your initial token launch, what would you do different?
Like I said, first, I wouldn't launch the token after having at least 18 months of traction or
Same,
user base on.
same, absolutely. I agree 100%.
So that's the first thing. And two, I would really, with Dogami, we actually implemented high lockup period and vesting period. But often the projects, they want to rush and they are pushed by launchpads to release a lot of tokens at TGE and that's not really sane. So I would and basically why does the launchpad are able to leverage you? Because you are a small project, you go there to fundraise and not really to fundraise first. And actually you should do that to capture or to make your community a stakeholder before you kind of think of yourself. Otherwise, it doesn't really work, and it doesn't put people in the right dynamic. Do you agree with that?
Agree 100%. So the only thing for me as DeFi that made me go through as a dinosaur token being here for more than 3 years is that 1,347 people bought into the IDO. I'm not sure everybody knows the difference between IDO or ICO or VC fundraising, and they bought $700 each. So, which means that it's not like one or two players, like the average is 700 and the maximum was 3,000. So, Pia, as a moderator of this space, I'm not sure people know the difference between these kind of terms, IDO, ICO, everything.
Well, maybe you can take a minute to redefine them, but I would think that people know the difference.
What if they do, then it's good. If they don't, post a comment on the space and we'll deep dive into it.
Yeah, Kevin, Bilal, and Chris, Alex. I think we have our friend Hoban that has a question around the tokenomics. Hoban raised the hand, so I have pulled Hoban onto the stage. So Hoban, please don't hesitate to shoot it. You with us? Okay, no worries. I think what I will do is to shoot the question for Hoban. Okay, let me just find it. How should token listing on large sets can be taken into account when designing tokenomics?
Well, the first thing I would say is to be lucid. There is no way to be listed in tier one exchanges like Binance or Kraken without having at least 15 million of daily transaction volumes. So just make sure to make sense with your tokenomics and to launch it at the right moment. And the more you're ready for, so you have traction to launch your token, the more you will generate traction on your token, and the more you will increase your chances to be listed on an exchange. Another misconception actually is that often people, they want to list on only one or two exchange because they think it will spread the liquidity. Actually, on the more exchange you list, on the more transaction volume you will generate, because the more arbitrage opportunities between the exchange on your token are available. So actually, I recommend being listed at least on 2, 3 centralized exchange, and at least 1 or 2 decentralized exchange as soon as possible. And what you need to know is that it's always in the first months that you have, well, there's 9 chances over 10 that in the first months you have high transaction volume. So you want to maximize the transaction volume that you have in the first months. So it's important to really calibrate your token launch properly. And by calibrate, I mean synchronize the listing on multiple exchange in a very short amount of time, so that you're able to generate this inertia of transaction volumes.
Okay, but then all the exchange is going to ask you for fees, no? And the more exchange you list, the more fees you are going to pay. And
Obviously,
then
but
when when the fees, yeah.
if you are a
Yeah.
trendy token, you have more leveraging power, and it will cost you less. So, and if you are
Yes.
trendy, it means that you have traction, and then your token will have proper utility and usefulness, and so the token will increase in price. And if the token increase in price, everybody wants to list a token that is increasing in price.
I can only confirm what Bilal just said. And me, as I listed a token in the DEX in Uniswap on the 7th of April 2021. And the first 24 hours, we hit $22 million trading volume on Uniswap on a DEX only. But I didn't have the experience at that time to build up on listing on exchanges, right? So I missed the momentum. So for 2, 3 weeks, we were trending number one on DEX tool on Uniswap only, with a pool with 127 ETH back in the days. And if you look back at the price, I think it was probably 1700 or 1800 per Ethereum. And I missed the momentum of the token launch into listing because I had 22 million trading volume. You know what I mean? So Bilal is right. And I missed that thing. So now it brings me to the question, like hyping a new token launch like I did back in the days 3 years ago in a good market trend, is it better than having an old token to revive? I don't know.
I'm not sure to understand your question, but if anyone else wants to jump in, Chris or Sami or Seb.
I have a little bit different take, but like the way we did decide to launch the sandbox was to focus on we wouldn't list unless we have two conditions that are matched. One is we have one of the top 5 exchange globally that want to list us. So back then it was Binance, Bithumb, Upbit, Huobi, and maybe Kraken, if I remember correctly. And we didn't want to launch a token prior to having already a large community of users who were engaged for the product. And why we did so as well is because it gives us more leverage in the conversation with the exchange, because you have to think, what does an exchange want? Why do they want to list your token? They don't do it out of just gratuity. They want either to acquire more users who will be buying then other currencies, trading, etc., to their core business, or they want to ensure that they will have a good volume, etc., afterwards on it. So we kind of waited 2 years after we launched the first version of Sandbox and tools and attracted our community, and even we did our first land sale in ETH back then, and we built that community of creator active until we approached the exchange. And we said no to all these smaller exchanges who came up to us, because at the end we think one big exchange is sufficient to drive the volume and the adoption. One Binance, one um, as an example, rather than a lot of smaller ones. No matter what they tell you, etc. And if those exchanges they tend to list too many tokens as well, then well, how much attention from them will you get until the next token launch and so on? Like if they launch 30 token a month, it's very hard, as in terms of exposure, attention, and support. I think that strategy paid off, but required us to be more patient because, of course, we get the proposal of many exchanges in the middle to list us. Regarding going to the decentralized exchange, it's a possibility, but it requires your community to be very educated. Like understanding how to buy a token on a DEX is like one even more complex step for them, right? Like, um, I still feel like today, for users to have to buy a token to understand, it's still um, still difficult, and so it's preferable to think of solution like how like you first reward your community of active player with a token and no one else, no investor. So you really give the prime advantage to your players, even retroactively. People talk about retro funding a lot, like on the Optimism DAO or what we've done at Sandbox in the past as well, when we were rewarding landowners for many years or creators who contributed years back on. And we were discussing that with Sami actually at Proof of Talk on a panel together. So really encouraged to think at like how like the token is thought not just as an instrument for financing, but more as an instrument for rewarding and engaging your first user base, and afterwards you introducing to other pool of audience like potential investors and so on. And you are very strategic on the exchange you pick, and you understand the risk of like going to this medium or smaller exchanges in terms of like uh, appreciation or depreciation of the token price, the volume, the fact you have the market making still to do, and other activities that like take your time and your energy and might not yield into after like the token being a fundraising instrument, not only at the TG but afterward as well. Like you need to maintain a good price of your token if you want to use it indeed for keep funding your development and so on. Which is something we can also discuss, like how to do that efficiently.
Another topic that might be interesting for the audience is what are the things to be aware and to look for when you are negotiating with an exchange? And basically, how can we not get fucked by an exchange? Who wants to take the lead on that? Sami?
Oh yeah. Uh, so
I love that.
we start like we start to talk with all the exchanges, like all of them, since March 2023, and like we start, to prepare everything, like to have like exactly the good spot to be listed. When the market is down, it's pretty easiest, to be listed. When the market go up, it's become more and more complicated. Like this is pretty logical. End of the year, we start like to move forward and like to being able, to be listed. Depending, the time when you're gonna have like the deal, you will have the deal. Um, Exactly, with the condition of the month. I explain myself. Imagine that in March, you're gonna sign the deal. You will have, the condition. If you list, in May or June, whatever. But if you sign in March, if the market is very good, you will pay, a market like a price very high. The price for the market for the exchange, it's completely different. Market maker is always more or less the same, but like for the exchanges, it's completely different. And I knew that because like I'm following like several gaming project, and like they always have like different price. And when it's like the market is pretty bullish, the price is going pretty high. And also, the same. One of the things that I love to say to people, if you have to pay, but like don't give your token. Like less you give your token, better it's gonna be. If you can't do it, just protect your token. If you really want to have like a better value, because like every token that you give will be airdrop, will be sell, whatever the price. because for them, like for the user that they get the token, they don't care about like the value. They just sell it, behind that. And what we've seen also is you you have like also like a way, to have a negotiation. Let's say that, when it's tier one, it's quite complicated, but when it's tier two, you have like a very good margin, to negotiate. I agree with what was saying Sebastian. Like the idea is like to be focused and try to get like the best position. You don't have to be listed everywhere. This is not the thing. It's like more you can have the best, better it's gonna be. But the thing is, day after day, you have more and more token, and it's more and more difficult to be listed, by the best. And this is pretty logical. They ask like to have like a pretty high traction, a very good user basis, and you can develop your game, but like it's not going to be maybe enough. What can I add on that? Usually, you also have like a system of deposits. When you list, it's not automatic, and it's pretty different, by the project. But since I follow like in the same month, almost 6 or 7 projects to be listed, they all have like different conditions. So it's pretty flexible, and like you have the way, to have a negotiation on first the price, second, like the deposit, and also like the marketing budget, because they all gonna ask you like a marketing budget. So it's a free token again. Usually it's like for system of launch pool, or system, of rewarding on air and airdrop. And yeah, if the only mistake for us for across the ages was like to make like a very big launch pool, and like we push because like the exchange was big, and we have like no other opportunity than using this system and giving token. But like the initial plan for us was to give only cash and not like a token, but we were not able to do it. And it affect the project. It's affect a lot. So less you can give, this is my advice, less you can give, better you will be.
Yes, I totally agree. And the free tokens that market maker and exchange get, they are not the same nature as the marketing campaign token airdrops. The amount of free token that they are getting, if you purely paying token, the amount is incredible. There are going to be like the biggest wallets out there that are getting the free tokens that most people are paying for it, even the private investors. So yeah, thank you, Sami. And Kevin, the floor is yours. I'm going back to making my thread. There is a thread that is incoming using bubble maps to analyze tokens in 2 minutes.
Okay, this is amazing. Thank you for the transition, Pia. Sami, thank you so much for bringing all of those insights. And you know what's so funny is that I didn't launch with the standard in a way that Cross VAGs and Dogami and all of these amazing projects in here, and of course Sandbox, did. I launched as a pure community project, doing on a DEX, everything 100%. And then you have this famous question, when sex, right? Like we've all seen it like over and over again, or when more listing. And a year and a half ago, I was like, okay, so the community asked when centralized exchange, let's do it. And then you look at the tier two, the tier one, the tier three, and you're like, I need to make choices. And I need to make the community happy, right? Because the community asked for a centralized exchange. So I was like, okay, um, I don't want to throw names out there, but I was like, okay, Probit Global, Korean exchange, not so expensive, tier three, okay, let's pay some dollars. My community know anyway. So 25,000 USDT. I was like, no token. Let's go. They list. Um, Fine. It's good news. And then you go to tier two, which I'm not going to throw names, but they're like, we want token. And your token is low at this time, right? Like a year and a half ago, deep down, bear market. And you're like, no, I'm not giving you a token. Like, I'm paying you in USDT. So negotiations shift a little bit, and they're like, we're gonna bring you millions of users, right? And then we need a token airdrop for our community that's gonna bring you thousands or millions of users. Okay. And then thanks to Bubble Map, maybe I'm gonna shift the conversation back to Nick and Bubble Map. When I checked my Bubble Map, I realized all the tokens I gave to this exchange for listing that was supposed to be airdropped to their community as a marketing tool to bring me thousands or dozens of thousands of users actually been withdrawn from that exchange, not giving a name. But if you check my bubbles, it's very clear. It's like one exchange, 4 wallets, every single token sold back into my DEX quick swap liquidity pool. So I think hopefully I'm connecting back to the discussion about the DEX and the bubble maps. Thanks to bubble maps, I realized they didn't airdrop my token to thousands of people. My hold account did not increase, but my token were withdrawn to 4 wallets that sold back to me in my liquidity pool.
Thank you, Bubble Maps.
Oh, well, what a shame! Like really, so that proved like as well like there's some wrongdoing at the exchange level. I think a few things to consider. Indeed, like one is like when you negotiate, like don't agree ideally to any fees for the exchange. Like it is their jobs, like to and their business to list token, and like if they start to charge fees for that, initially, like you're going to lose anyway, and like I think it's already not creating a healthy relation. Like during bull market in 2020, some exchange were charging 1 million worth of token or USD to list you, and it didn't bring additional value than order. So be attentive at that. The second is like the amount of token they are going to ask you to put as well in for the market making. They say, oh, because we need to ensure so much liquidity, we need 1 million worth of your token and on each pair. So for if you have 3 pairs, USDT, BTC, ETH, then you need 3 million locked. No, like you definitely not going to need that much amount in liquidity. So we really negotiated down, and it can be down until like probably 5 figures max as reasonable, and then increase if you really see more. Indeed, like negotiate like the way like any airdrop campaign, marketing campaign will be done. Like basically we ask them what's their fee, and if like it's weird you do a marketing campaign to airdrop and you take 40% as fee, like what? So we spent some time to deep down, like okay, list us all the influencer, proof of the wallet, they will be distributed, we will distribute ourselves. Unfortunately, when you don't trust and you want to verify, you do those steps and you ensure like there is a direct delivery without the man in the middle. And like they take very minimal fees for managing the campaign, whether it's like an airdrop or a learn to earn academy or some sort of engagement that the exchange will provide, and ensure that it's being distributed to the influencer, KOL, or like the community if they complete some form of like survey after watching a video and so on. I guess also
Absolutely.
the budget with KOL, be very careful. I don't believe any KOL can deliver. Well, sorry, let me rephrase. I don't want to sound too negative. I think it's hard even for KOL now to deliver more than a few hundred users each. So when they are going to ask you a price based on the number of followers or the number of views per video, you still need to make up the calculation of like what's the conversion rate, look at previous token after, and calculate what's the cost per user you require through
I
that.
agree.
And be careful because they
I agree,
tend
Seb.
to have like when you run a campaign and you don't run it with one KOL at the same time. So you also have an aggregate effect plus that brings like the paid plus the organic. And very often the influencer will say it's all thanks to me. Well, it's just like the aggregate cumulative effort.
I agree, Seb, 100%. But what in the case where, if you go to CoinMarketCap right now, you search for defeat. I think a 1 year chart is good. I'm proud of it. A liquidity pool, a liquidity is good on the DEX. But when you talk to an exchange said, "Oh, you want me to list you? This is how much it's gonna cost you." Then what do? As a token, which is like very community based from start, how do you negotiate that? And you said that you built the sandbox for 2 years before launching the token, which is the best way to do it. And now in Defeat, we are close to 40,000 users. So how do we handle the exchange asking you too much money and then the community saying when exchange? And I'm telling my community, do you understand that when we announce the news of an exchange, it's a pump and dump news? It's like we're going to hype it up. And then the exchange took so many tokens for free, and they claim it's for an airdrop. And Sami is raising his hand, and I really want to hear Sami as well on that topic. So the exchange is telling me, "Hey, give me so many tokens. We're gonna bring you so many users." And then at the end of the day, they don't airdrop anything, and it's like you don't know where the tokens went because it's an exchange address, and you have no idea what's going on the SEX, on the centralized exchange. And then how can you trust them? And like, this is for me as a token founder, a big question which I don't have any answer and I need guidance. Like,
You are more or less trapped if you want my advice, and like if you want, I give you like my honest feedback. The thing is, like, today, the exchange do whatever they want. They have like tons and tons and tons of project want to be listed. You can't imagine how it's complicated, to be listed, on some exchanges. It depends if it's like tier one, like forget about them. Tier two, it's still acceptable. Tier three, it's okay. There are some exchanges that where like I'm really happy of the job of what they made, and like the transparency and the way of how was the step, but like you also have like how can I say that, the problem with like what will be your metrics, and what they're asking, it's higher and higher. So I know it's not easy, but like try to find an exchange where like it's fit with you, and like you will not be able to give too much, because like getting a tier one like Bybit and OKX and will ask and have like a very high requirement in a daily user basis, but like getting something like Gates, maybe or MXC, but probably more Gates will be like more efficient for many reasons. First of all, because they will ask you less, much less, as a deposit, as fees, and also for the token, what they ask is very tiny, if I consider what they ask to maybe some other, and
Gay told me 70/30.
70th, yeah, it's more or less the
How is that tiny? 70/30. How is that
time.
tiny?
uh, you expect that you never get like nothing less than 50K, for the listing. I never heard anyone, into the market. And like Gate can ask also, they ask between 50 to 100 and 225. It depends, when is it. And for the marketing, they're asking from 25 to let's say 100. So if you
Yes, I
when you have
agree.
70/30, you can maybe ask to have something like 50/30, and it's gonna be like a very awesome negotiation, or like 50/25 to have 75, and yes, but like
You know, I have Telegram groups with Gates, with UOB, with everyone out there. And as said earlier, there's only one truth: users, right? So we're all talking about user base and mass adoption. If your mobile application or your application or whatsoever has no users, don't expect anything. If you do have users and utility and real value adds, then you get everything. So this is the spirit and the mindset I'm in right
Yeah.
now. I need to get this from 30,000 users to 500,000 to 1 million. I know I can do it. Then I'll talk to them again.
You know,
And if I knew that 3 years ago, I would have never launched a token back in the days, but I will launch a token 3 years from now once I get 1 million users because I know every single blockchain is going to eat my hand.
so as Seb was saying, when he launched, the sand, he used to get like a very strong, huge, amazing user basis. If you think that is gonna be like the sex will bring you the user, it's not true. Not true at all. We have five like with Bybit, Gate, with a UB, with whatever you KuCoin. This is not bringing like the people from across the edges. It's not true. So you have to make your own work, create your own community, and when you feel yourself ready, you can go for it. But if you launch for launch, it's not gonna
I
work.
agree. I agree.
Yeah,
You're
so
100% right. And I see more and more of my
Guys,
community joining in. You can see all the baby pictures right now in the space. This is good. Squape, everyone. Thank you for joining, guys.
this is right. You have to just think like, what's the business of an exchange? It's not to bring their audience to games. It's like to make them trade, hold crypto, etc. So, but what they want from the project, they want their user base and service them to trade again. So once you realize that, like you also can use that to your advantage. Like the misconception that it's not wrong to like by adding more holders of the token generally to like a decentralized economy, it's something beneficial. But because they are all concentrated into the centralized exchange account, you don't really see how many. So there's no transparency. You don't know what happened, and the exchange wallet. They are not compatible with our games. Like you cannot connect until very recently with your Binance wallet or OKX wallet or KuCoin wallet, Gate, and so on, directly into the game to turn those users who hold your token into the game. So there is an extra barrier to the adoption for them. They hold your token, but then they have to send out to another hot wallet like your MetaMask, etc., to start using your token in your product. And like, well, new barrier means like again like conversion funnel. So it's an opportunity, I think, always like how do you convert those new users who hold your token to make them want to play with it or increase their earning more on your game rather than on the exchange. You always have to be smart about what's the value proposition you want to bring. But it requires more work, and that's how you start to think like the token is a full product that needs a dedicated marketing, needs to be creative behind, and to understand how it's actually being distributed to who and all those audiences, what their intention initially. You can like align everyone interests or try to.
thanks, Seb, Sami, and Kevin for all those wise words. We are live for more than an hour and a half, and we just got the bubble maps. So what we can do is that I think Chris has to bounce. So whoever needs to bounce, no worries, you can guys bounce. And Chris, if you want to say a few words, you're more than welcome. And then we can take like 5-10 minutes maximum to check the bubble maps, and then we close the space.
Yeah, thanks, Bilal, and thanks everybody for the chat. It was a pleasure being here. Thanks, Payao, for hosting us. And
Chris, we don't hear you.
I can hear Chris. I think Bilal,
Oh,
He
your line
left.
is being
He don't
Bilal
want
has
by the
the
to
Twitch.
talk anymore. He
Bilal
wait
has
too
the
much.
problem that
He
I
say,
was
okay,
having this whole thing.
1 hour 40.
I
I'm
couldn't
leaving.
hear some people. Anyways, thanks a lot. I gotta run, but
I
thank you for
might
the
have a
time.
bug on my side,
Bye.
but if you guys are hearing Chris,
Yes, I'm hearing Chris. Yeah. So I think, Bilal, you are kind of being rocked by the Twitter god, and you usually would fix the problem is you leave the space and you come back as speaker.
All right. Well, I got to run also myself, but I hope like there's been a lot of valuable insight and thanks. I wanted to thank everyone here who kind of like spoke really openly about their experience on launching tokens. We generally, I think it's important in the mindset like to share those advice and feedback so other founders don't fall necessarily in the easy traps of like the TGs and like the high valuation, FGV, and so on, but understand really what's at stake for them. And well, I invite any blockchain game to join the Blockchain Game Alliance as well. Like we are here as an association that's really here to share knowledge and adoption of the blockchain technology within the game industry, and like also have this kind of feedback to our members and make sure like they can also get more support differently so they are not alone in their approach toward the exchanges. And happy to also anytime someone writes me to give an answer to those founders.
Yes, Bilal, do you want to thank you, Seb, and thank you for all the wise words. And yes, I think the drama behind the sex and all the launch pads and the market maker and in exchanges, blah blah, etc. is something that bubble maps enables us to see. I think, Bilal, you have some words that you want to
Yes,
say about the bubbles. I see Kevin
The
also raised
bubbles
his
are
hand.
out.
yeah. So let's
Yes.
deep dive in the bubble. So you have pinged in the in the space some different posts. I have the one of Dogani under my eyes. What's interesting, well, not that interesting, is that when you are a multi-chain project, unfortunately, a lot of tokens are locked into the bridge, so you don't see everything as you're supposed to see. But what we see is that it's pretty much scattered around different holders. Let's check at the DeFi one. DeFi, I need some explication. What are all those interconnections in green?
Okay, this is a good question. What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. We see a lot of connections between addresses.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Bilal, you know that there's a difference between a project being launched on a centralized exchange where you have absolutely no fucking clue about what's going on in terms of transaction and a project being launched like from day one on DEX, everything on chain. All right. So from here on, you need to understand that there's two wallets, and actually every single community member in Defeat that I'm saying here live on X, but yeah, you and me did another space like 2 hours ago on Defeat. Every single community member know every single wallet address of Defeat. From treasury, every single shareholder know all of them, and there's no tokens going out. So yes, there's a concentration, but you need to understand that whenever we do a giveaway, it goes out from the treasury wallet. Whenever there is like whatever, it goes out from the treasury wallet. So all the connections are from the main treasury wallet of DeFi to people because we have no centralized exchange and nothing. So that's why all the connections are happening, even to people we don't even know, whenever we do a giveaway or challenge or anything. Does that answer your question, Bilal?
Yeah, thanks.
And all the wallets are fully transparent. My community know all of them. If you want to ask me my wallet, as a founder, I'm going to share my wallet payout. I'll give you the address. You can share in the space comment. I never sold a single defeat since I listed it 3.5 years ago. Period.
Thank you, Kevin. Yes, I think with the defeat bubble, well, so first I think we need to understand what the bubbles of bubble maps are doing. Basically, every bubble that you see is a
The wallet.
it's a wallet, and if you see a lot of transactions between like the big bubble, the main big bubble, and the smaller bubbles, it means basically that's a cluster of wallet that is having transactions very often between this kind of between these wallets. And what Kevin was indicating was with the bubbles is yes, the big wallet is the big bubble is the team treasury wallet, and the transactions are like the sending of the rewards, etc. Yes,
Yes,
So let's
but
Bilal.
jump
yeah,
on.
if I may add, this is where to me the Rematch is a great tool for new launch token with no track records, and you need to look for some kind of like confirmation. Um, and to us, it doesn't really apply in a sense like, yes, it's centralized, but centralization doesn't necessarily mean bad. Centralization can mean good when the founder has been around for 3.5 years and shared every single wallet addresses. Bilal, because you also a shareholder in this company, in the shareholder agreement, every single wallet is there. And our community trusts us for so long because they know that no token or no NFT have been going out from those wallet addresses. So though the bubble is big, nothing has been going out for the last year and a half or very, very little.
All right, all right, all right. Let's go on the one from Cross the Ages. That's interesting. We can see clearly the different exchange where the token is listed: Bybit, KuCoin, MXC, Gate, and we see. I don't know if it's the wallet of the exchanges or if it's people that ask to off ramp from the exchange their wallets, but CTA token is pretty new, like a month. It was listed a month ago, so that would be interesting to see how it evolves in the couple of next months.
I,
What
I
else?
think usually on the bubble maps it's normal when you see like a lot of like transactions surrounding the sex, and usually you disable all the sex bubbles to have a better view. But what is interesting with the cross the ages bubble is what are the purple ones?
Oh, it's with the cross the ages bubbles, the purple ones. Which one? Like the one in Gnosis?
No, the ones on the right side. Because
Ah,
you,
that's
you
a
see
good question.
yes, the color is corresponding to the wallet list. You know, the wallet list at the most right, and you can see that all the sets are yellow. So Bybit, KuCoin, and it's normal. Like when you are a sex, you have a lot of arrows coming out of it because people are buying from the sex. Well, that's the usage of the sex. But what is the purple one doing?
Good question. Good question. Good question. Too bad Sammy is not here anymore. The one of Axie Infinity as well. There is the bridge of Ronin, I guess, was aggregating most of the token. And in the beginning of the space, you talked about Gala Games, right? I missed that.
Yes, we talked about the gala games. Nick told us about like in 2023, he found out that there were the drama between the two co-founders, and then you had like the gala V1 and the V2.
All right, all right. So I think we can close the space. We've talked about everything.
Yes, honestly, launching a token is a big topic, and that's usually the corner when you find all the drama in the crypto. So
Yeah,
1.5
exactly.
hour is hardly enough.
Yeah, can I add something to it?
Please.
Let's go.
If you told me 4 years ago what it would take to launch a token, I would probably not do it The only reason I did is because I had no fucking clue about how much does it take out of you. All right. And I think Bilal, you can confirm that. People
Definitely.
think launching a token is a good idea, but launching a token is a bad idea unless you prove otherwise. It's different from being guilty or being innocent. Like launching a token is only a good idea from the moment you know you have what it takes to do it. That's my closing word.
Exactly. So I think that's the perfect conclusion we could have. Totally agree with you. Anyway, I hope everyone had a good moment and learned some nice stuff. Feel free to follow Paris Lab, hook us up, sending in inboxes if you have any questions or if you're an entrepreneur who wants to fundraise or being accelerated. What's particular about Paris Lab is that we have experts in house that work with the entrepreneurs to really maximize their chances of success. And the other particularity is that we allow the customization of your acceleration program. So it's not a standardized acceleration program. It really depends on what you need, and we try to fit with that. And we have quite a nice place in Paris. So if you're around, please hook us up. And obviously on the website parislab.com, you can all guys register to our newsletter. So thank you again very much, guys, for everyone. Thank you, Kevin, for entertaining us as well, and thanks to Payao for the
Entertaining.
moderating. Take care,
Uh,
guys.
yes, I was just double checking send, and I see it looks like the sandbox has a lot of big holders. I don't.
Yeah, we said no non-financial advice, right? So not shilling any
Okay, no
tokens in
financial
here.
advice. Everything I say, don't listen to it anyway.
You know what I
Okay,
mean?
cool.
Like every single project in there is fucking like top-notch project, all right? Otherwise we wouldn't be here. This is Paris Labs, this is Bilal, this is the team, this is family, Cross VAGs, Sandbox, Dogami. But we're not shilling anything. We're just talking for real.
Exactly, and
Exactly.
actually, Cross the Ages has a game that is available on the App Store. Dogami as well. You, Kevin, has an app available on the App Store. So we're not shilling like future tokens. We're shilling like applications that have already a user base.
Bilal, let's go. We deserve
Let's
to be
go.
on the top notch. Let's like challenge the US because making too much noise, too much hypes, no fundamentals. In France, it's like it's been forever. We have the fundamentals, but we have no hype. Let's change this.
Exactly. Let's
Exactly.
conclude.
Yes, I think you guys already did the wrap up round. So I just wanted to thank everyone who have joined us, all our audience, and we had a whole bunch of asked questions. And I wanted to thank all our speakers, Kevin from David, Bilal as well, Alex from Paris Labs. We had Sami from Cross the Ages, Seb from the Sandbox, Nicholas from Bubble Maps. In actually the bubble that Nick shooted me in the end made me wants to do like a very dedicated session, just using bubble maps to analyze the different coins. And who else did we have? Chris from Dogami. And yes, so thank you to all our speakers, and thank you all for joining us. I hope you enjoy the space, and I see you for the next Web3 investment Twitter space for yeah, on the Paris account. Yes, so see you and have a great evening or
Bye bye,
weekend
guys.
depending on who you are.
Thanks, Priyo.
Yes, thank you. Ciao. I'm closing the space in 3 seconds. So 3, 2, 1. Ciao.